Welcome to TechNova Podcast. Okay, let's dive right in today. We're talking about a number that's, well, it's almost hard to grasp. Over 16 billion login credentials
16 billion.
exposed, yeah. It's being called the biggest password leak in internet history, happening in 2025. It's just a massive wake-up call about our digital lives.
Absolutely stark reminder.
So our goal for this deep dive is really to unpack what this huge breach actually means for security, how it happened and maybe why it feels different from other leaks we've heard about. And crucially, what you listening right now can actually do to protect yourself. Because this isn't just news, right? It sounds like a blueprint for exploitation on a massive scale.
It really does. And we're here to help you navigate that.
Okay, so let's start with the scale again. 16 billion. It just sounds insane.
It is. Over 16 billion login credentials. It makes it by far the largest leak ever reported. Researchers, particularly at Cyber News and Forbes, they were really key in uncovering this.
Right.
And it genuinely puts global digital security at, well, an insane risk right now.
Yeah. So how does that even happen? How is that much data gathered? Is it like one giant company getting hacked or something else?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not like those big headline-grabbing hacks where one central database gets compromised. This data was mostly gathered using something called Infostealer malware.
Infostealers.
Yeah, it's malicious software designed to quietly steal sensitive info, like your logins, directly from your computer or your browser.
So it's happening device by device almost.
Pretty much. And what's really critical here is that the data they found is described as new and highly structured. It's not just old passwords floating around from past breaches.
So it's fresh intel.
Exactly. Fresh, organized, and ready to be used by attackers. Weaponizable, basically.
Structured, you said. So these infostealers weren't just grabbing random stuff. What kind of details are we talking about?
Well, the structure itself is alarming. It's typically organized as a URL, like the website address.
Okay.
Followed by the specific login credential, like a username or email.
Right.
And then the password for that site.
Wow. Okay. That's incredibly specific.
It is. And it gives direct access to, well, almost any online service you can think of. They found credentials for Apple, Facebook, Google, GitHub, Telegram, even government agency platforms.
Government agencies, too.
Yes. This specific format, URL, login, password, that's considered the standard signature of contemporary infostealer activity. It makes it super efficient for attackers.
So they steal all this incredibly organized, sensitive data. Where does it go? Does it just leak out or is it sold?
Unfortunately, it becomes a product. These researchers found these 16 billion plus credentials were just put up for sale online.
For sale?
Yeah. Available on the dark web,
Yeah.
that hidden part of the internet, and sometimes for like even a small sum of money.
That's terrifying that anyone could potentially buy access for cheap.
It makes the threat incredibly widespread. Very potent.
So what are the immediate dangers for people if this information is just out there, structured and ready to buy?
Well, with data this organized and accessible, it really is, as you said, a blueprint for mass exploitation.
Okay.
It means we're likely looking at a big surge in things like targeted phishing attacks.
Right, because they know which sites you use.
Exactly. And widespread identity theft, account takeovers happening all over the world. The structure of the data just lowers the bar significantly for criminals to launch large-scale automated attacks.
Like trying those stolen passwords on lots of different sites at once.
Precisely. Credential stuffing, it's called. It's much easier when the data is clean like this.
It's clear this is a massive deal, and it goes way beyond just, your email login. Everything's connected now. What does one compromised password really mean today?
Yeah, thinking bigger picture, it means that if a password is compromised, it compromises nearly everything.
Everything. That sounds extreme, but...
Well, think about it. Your banking, social media, work stuff, maybe even health records. They're all tied to your digital identity. And often, people reuse passwords or use really similar patterns.
Guilty, yeah.
So one breach can cascade. It can unravel huge parts of your digital life, expose really sensitive information across loads of platforms.
That really puts it into perspective. So how are the big players reacting? Authorities, tech companies. Are they taking this seriously?
Oh, definitely. The reactions have been significant. Google, for example, is now advising billions of users to change their passwords to much more secure passkeys specifically because of this.
Billions. Wow, okay.
And you've got the FBI cautioning people against clicking on links in SMS messages, again, because the risk is so much higher now with this data out there.
So specific warnings tied directly to this leak.
Exactly. The strong responses really underscore that this isn't just another breach. It's different, more dangerous.
Okay, you mentioned it's different. We hear about breaches, sadly, quite often. What makes this one stand out so much besides just the huge number?
Well, a critical point is that the vast majority of these 16 billion credentials are new and unreported until now.
Ah, not recycled data.
Right. Unlike a lot of data dumps that contain old, known breach data, this is largely fresh. And maybe even more importantly, they are structured and easily exploitable.
We keep coming back to that structure.
Because it matters. Attackers don't need to spend time cleaning it up or organizing it. It's basically machine readable, ready for automated attacks straight away.
So it's primed for action.
Exactly. Which makes these credentials particularly vulnerable to sophisticated phishing, widespread fraud, really rapid account hijacking. It enables exploitation on a scale we haven't really seen before in this way.
Okay, so this paints a pretty scary picture. Let's pivot to solutions. For you listening, facing this kind of threat, what's the absolute first thing you should do?
The most vital first step, honestly, if you think there's any chance you've been affected, and frankly, with this scale, maybe everyone should assume they might be, is to change your passwords right away.
Don't wait, just do it.
Don't delay. Start with your most important accounts, email, banking, anything sensitive.
Okay, immediate password changes. Beyond that, what about longer-term strategies? What tools or habits should we all be adopting now?
Right, this is about building stronger defenses ongoing. First, seriously consider investing in and actually using a good password management software.
A password manager. Yeah, people talk about those a lot.
They're foundational now. They help you create and store strong, unique passwords for every site. Second, absolutely use multi-factor authentication whenever possible, MFA or 2FA.
That extra code from your phone, usually.
Exactly. It adds a crucial security layer. Even if someone gets your password, they likely won't get past the second factor. Third, start switching to passkeys wherever feasible.
Passkeys, Google mentioned those. Are they really better?
Experts advise it. They're designed to be more secure and resistant to phishing attacks compared to traditional passwords. Many major services are rolling them out.
Okay, good to know. What else?
Fourth, basic but essential. Make sure you're always selecting robust, unique passwords.
Okay.
Long, complex, and never reuse them across different sites. That's where the password manager really helps.
Right, avoids the reuse problem.
And fifth, maybe consider using dark web monitoring tools.
Yeah.
Some password managers or security services offer this. They could alert you if your credentials pop up for sale online.
So you get a heads up if something's found.
Precisely. It gives you a chance to react quickly.
Okay, those are great practical tools and steps.
Yeah.
It also sounds like there's a mindset shift needed too.
Absolutely. You just need to remain vigilant and aware of any attempts to steal login credentials. Be skeptical of emails, texts, links asking for info.
Stay alert.
Yeah. And experts are really clear on this. Now is the time to take this threat and its enormous risks seriously. It's not about being paranoid. It's about practicing good, proactive digital hygiene consistently.
So to wrap up a bit, this 16 billion credential leak, it's huge. It really highlights a new level of threat, maybe more insidious because of how the data was collected and structured.
Definitely a significant escalation.
But as we've discussed, understanding how it works, understanding the threat, that's the first step. And then taking these concrete actions, changing passwords, using managers, MFA, passkeys, can seriously strengthen your defenses.
Knowledge and action are definitely your best shields here.
It feels like even though the threat is immense, it's not hopeless. There are things you can do.
Absolutely. Empowerment comes from understanding and taking those protective steps.
So maybe a final thought for you to take away from this deep dive.
Yeah. Something to consider is this. We're now in an era where, for potentially just a small amount of money, someone can buy a ready-made blueprint to access your digital life on the dark web.
Right.
So what does that really mean for our collective security online? And maybe more personally, what responsibility do each of us have in building a more resilient digital future for ourselves and everyone?